Welcome back to The Blue Woman by H.G. Shuler. Chapter 5. The Evolution of Dimensions and Time Travel. He stood there unable to move, frozen by her sudden appearance. When she starts to speak, he puts his fingers over her mouth, motioning with his eyes for her to step out back with him. Looking into his eyes, she can see sympathy in them. Sympathy for a situation he feels responsible for. There's no need for that. I've interfered with their audio frequency. They think you're alone, so don't worry. They're not expecting conversation. How did you get in without them seeing you? I used a different mode of travel, one you're not familiar with. His eyes are wandering up and down her neon blue body. Do you mean you can cloak yourself? Like become invisible? No, that's not what I mean. First, let me start by telling you I found a few others who are different. Not like me, different, but different from other humans like yourself. I found them through my complete and absolute clearance with the internet. I mimic the server as if I am the server, so I can enter any site without detection. I found them, entered their site, and learned everything about them without their knowledge. They are incredible people and have the ability to do interdimensional travel. This requires parallel block universes, which until recently was only in theory. It was thought that the anti-gravity or faster-than-light hypothesis was. Nova, you're losing me. Are you telling me there are other dimensions and that people have traveled to them? Yes. So, the UFOologists that say the unidentified flying objects and other related events are actually visitations from other realities or dimensions have been right all this time? I don't believe I mentioned UFOs at all. This manifestation of a UFO phenomenon that has occurred throughout much of recorded history has been mostly conjecture, and to date, totally unproven. Then what are you trying to tell me? That other realities or dimensions coexist separately alongside our own. This has nothing to do with UFOs as a spiritistic phenomenon. And these people don't act like the so-called extraterrestrial visitors. The people that I've found are human, only they have the ability to remain in a youthful state. They also have powers that, with the beginning of man, were quite common. For example, they see farther and hear with greater sensitivity. In fact, all of their natural senses are much more powerful, including their physical strength. For the most part, their interdimensional travels are not discussed on their website. Of course, you won't find them talking about it on Facebook, Twitter, or in any correspondence by email. As you know, I can enter and hijack any electronic device. Their off-the-internet devices contained intriguing information which piqued my interest. How this mode of travel is done was not directly discussed. However, that it was being done was discussed at length. So, I decided to pay them a little visit. What I found was amazing, at least once they were comfortable with me. They gave me a nice education on alternate realities and travels. I'm listening. Go on. Most people don't realize it, but there is quite a bit of evidence out there for a multiverse. The idea is pervasive in comic books, video games, television, and movies. Everything humans know about the cosmos is or was in singularity. In recent years, it was discovered that the universe is expanding. What was not discovered was that it is expanding and inflating in three-dimensional space. Humans have known for a long time that there are other planets, stars, and galaxies. What they haven't figured out is that theirs is not the only universe. They've wondered about it, but never reached the conclusion, which is a simple truth. The fact is that space and time are flat. That being the case, the number of possible particle configurations in multiple universes is limited. What that means is when the possibilities run out, to facilitate the multiverse growing, the spontaneous creation of an infinite number of cosmic patches takes place. Where do these patches come from? That's a good question. The patches come from what already exists, from the same Earth, the same planets, the same galaxies and universes. So, these patches are really just a replica of what's already in existence, right down to individual people. The particle arrangements within them must continue to repeat themselves. The result are not only identical Earths, but also planets, stars, galaxies, universes, and like I said, individual people. I can't tell you how many parallel universes there are, but I can tell you that they connect with these overlapping particle patches, resulting in direct passages or doorways. Nova, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless, and, well, you know me, I'm never speechless. There's more, something I should probably tell you because it has correlation. Please go on. This is fascinating. I want to hear. Yes, I plan to, just trying to calculate the best direction so that you understand. It gets more complicated. The thing is, Logan, humans have also for many years had theories of possible time travel due to the bending of time. Their theory is correct. However, their reason or reasons for time bending is incorrect. Time bends because it's part of how space continues to expand. When a number of possible particle configurations runs its course, and a patch is needed, a portal or bend takes place that remains intact from that point on. The portal travels to the original location of the particles being replicated or repeated. It's not sitting there in an open field waiting to be accessed. Let me see if I can make this understandable, because this is how travel to other dimensions and time travel are even possible. If you're in an area with a super strong magnetic pole, a portal can be opened and accessed. You can go through it to the next dimension in front of you, or behind you in the stream of time. Or you can simply travel within the same dimension. The north or south poles are perfect for this, but there are other hot spots. These are called dip areas. These are areas with large concentrations of iron ore, and that dip away from the equator. These act like heating coils that can be turned on by hitting the right frequency. Since I'm basically a supercomputer, I can easily calculate and create the needed frequency. And due to my electromagnetic abilities, I can create the magnetic pole or pull needed to open a portal. So, I can basically create a portal anywhere, or at least practically anywhere. If I'm in an area shielded from the Earth's ions, then I can't use my electromagnetic abilities. Thus, I couldn't open a portal or use a number of my other abilities. For heaven's sake, Nova, you're telling me that you can not only travel to other dimensions, but you can time travel. That's right. I can travel through time, and I can take you or anyone else with me. However, I should mention that we can travel through time only to time periods where patches have taken place. I can't tell you how long a patch takes to complete itself, but those are the years we can travel to. I've calculated about 100 years, and in intervals also of about 100 years, meaning that every 100 years a patch takes place that lasts for 100 years before it's complete. That is, of course, if my calculations are correct. So, we can travel to other dimensions that are exactly 100 years apart from our own, and we can travel to time periods within those dimensions anywhere within a time frame of 100 years. What that means is we can travel back to World War I, or to the Civil War, even to the early 1800s if we like. But we can't travel the last year or 10 years ago. We have to go back at the very least 100 years. From that point in history, we can travel back up to another 100 years. So, from the early 1900s, we can go back to the early 1800s. From that point, it would jump to the next patch, which would go back to the early 1700s. So, time travel, although possible, is also limited. The nice thing is if I have sufficient time, because it does take several minutes to open a portal, I can travel anywhere in the world within our own dimension and time period. I learned how to do that from the new friends I was telling you about. It's what I meant by another mode of travel. It's how I entered the house without being detected. It has taken a lot out of me, though. You must be tired then. Would you like something to eat? Yes, that would help. I don't do as much cooking these days. Let me see. I know, I'll make spaghetti. I have the ingredients, and it was always one of your favorites. Spaghetti's fine. I can help. I always did like to cook. Maybe I can make us a salad. No, sit at the table and just relax. You need to rest, Nova. Remember? But no arguing. Nova sits leaning forward onto the table, her arms crossed, watching Logan as he pours a pot of water, sits it on the stovetop, and turns the knob to number 10. Next, he starts gathering the ingredients for the meal. For a second, he stops, opening the refrigerator and reaching in. Would you like a Coke? They're nice and cold. He sets the 20-ounce beverage in front of her. Thank you. This is nice like old times. After twisting off the top, she takes a drink. I really messed up, didn't I? I should have never showed myself. You tried to tell me, but now I'm being hunted like an animal. She takes another drink. I'm sorry for the trouble. You're being watched, and truth is that's not going to change. I should have listened to you. I know that now. I knew it then too, but the computer in me. When you left the house with the Cafe Sasso, I checked your phone and saw the text with Sky. I know it's not fair to do that, Logan. You deserve better. When I saw it, I got so angry and that was it. I concocted the whole tattoo idea and just went for it. Logan rips open a package of ground beef and starts breaking it apart into a pan. Don't sweat it. Things are settled down now, at least for the time being. He grabs an onion, slices the top off, and begins peeling away the outer layer. They know you exist, but they haven't figured out how just yet. He starts chopping up the onion. Besides, we got friends, and I don't just mean Sky. We got a friend in the CIA. He scoops the chopped onions into the ground beef, turns the left front knob to start simmering. Then he reaches for a packet of spaghetti. Did you hear what I said, Nova? We have a friend at the CIA. She takes another sip of Coke. I heard. Do you think you can trust him? Or is it her? Pressing at a plastic clip, he removes it from the partially used package of spaghetti, slides out half a handful, then turns glancing a second at her. Her. And yes, I think I can trust her. She's being really upfront with me. She says she wants to help, and I believe her. The power's above her, though. She's not making any promises other than to try to see justice done. It's good of her to not make promises she can't keep. It probably means that we really can trust her. We're going to need her. We have Homeland Security investigating us, or is it you? Anyway, they've been here snooping around. I detected the surveillance equipment as soon as I arrived. You're sure it's Homeland Security? Did they show identification? Actually, no they didn't. Cassidy, the CJ agent I was telling you about, she thinks they're a secret branch of the Army that's controlled by Homeland. If I can find out the specifics about them, do they have a code name, for example, then I can hack them and find out what they're up to. Do you think Cassidy can do that? It probably means you'll have to meet with her. She's a government girl, loyal to the CIA, and apparently to Homeland. She's made that good and clear. I don't think she'll try taking you in, though. The thing is, Logan, she's not the one calling the shots. Who is, and what do they want? We need to know that before I meet with her. Do you think you can find that out? He breaks the spaghetti, placing the two halves into the pot of water. If she's sure that you'll meet with her, then yes. I think she'll jump through hoops to find out. When she puts her mind to something, she's practically impossible to stop. Okay, now the salad. I don't have any of that nasty balsamic vinaigrette dressing you used to be so crazy about. Honey mustard, okay. Do you have Thousand Island? No. Sorry. I thought it was your favorite. My taste has changed. I've got some good Italian. That's good. And I would like to help with the salad. Maybe prepare the lettuce. If you insist. She stands up in the direction of the refrigerator. If you think you can trust her, Logan, then I'll try to trust her too. You got tomatoes. They're in the bottom. Oh, let me get them for you. Here's a nice one. When he turns, reaching them out to her, he notices the atmosphere around her is glowing a muted shade of her neon blue. It's sweeping out and around her the distance of about 2 feet. There's also a blurry aura radiating and pulsating in her face, making it difficult to recognize her. The whole scene is characterized by changes taking place in her appearance, especially her face, which is now pulsating from a muted blue neon to a much brighter blue. Nova, your face, What about my face? It's changing, I mean really changing. Your eyes are tilted up now at the outside corners, and the singular vertical lines beside your mouth are now triple lines, only with deeper crevices, 3 on each side, and tilted outward the same as your eyes. Your nose is the same, only what? Only, I don't know, maybe a little smaller and more contoured, almost like a reptile, but you're even prettier than before. Nova, you're gorgeous, but a little different. What have I done to you? She looks into the shiny side of a toaster. Are you kidding? You gave me life again. No matter what happens to me, I'll always be grateful to you. I might as well go ahead and tell you this, because sooner or later you'll find out. Find out what? I've seen signs already of slight changes. The day you injected my DNA into the composition of the computer, as soon as I had consciousness, I knew it right off, could feel it inside me. It's one of the problems of doing important experimentations at home without a controlled environment. There were particles so small you wouldn't have noticed. They settled into the blue liquid as you were working. I have tiny amounts of DNA from multiple reptiles, insects, and animals. My body composition has been steadily changing since I took this form in the closet. I think it's over with now. At least that's what it feels like. And it doesn't matter now anyway, because there's no going back. Is there any pain? Does it hurt in any way? Are you kidding? I feel incredible. What you've done, Logan, perfecting the chemical computer, and through it bringing me back. You should get an award, maybe something better if there is such a thing. But you and I both know that will never happen. You need to be careful what you admit to. And I won't let them ever take me in, because if they do, they won't stop experimenting on me till they've destroyed me. Talk to your friend at the CIA, find out who's in charge and what they're up to, and find out what she can do to help us. Neither of us wants to be on the run for the rest of our lives, but if that's what it takes to survive. I'll talk to her tomorrow. Will you be available to meet with her? I mean, you're not disappearing again, are you? I don't blame you for asking. No, I'm not disappearing. I'm staying here tonight, if it's okay with you. Good, that's settled. Right now, there's nothing else we can do. Why don't we just eat our meal? Oh, listen, can you hear the birds singing outside the window? Yes, I love the birds, but I hate it when their songs give me a false sense of security. How did you ever meet a female agent for the CIA? That's sort of a funny story. It was in a doctor's office. Her cover was a psychiatrist. Seriously? You've reached the end of Chapter 5 of The Blue Woman by H.G. Shuler. Come back for more of the story on YouTube.